Excellencies, distinguished participants, I wish to thank the Civil Aviation Authority of Oman for hosting the International Civil Aviation Organization Security Week and for extending the invitation to the Counter-Terrorism Committee Executive Directorate to contribute to this event. I also wish to convey my gratitude to Mr. Juan Carlos Salazar, Icao Secretary General, for his continued efforts to strengthen the already close partnership between our two organizations. I join you all in celebrating the 50th anniversary of Annex 17 to the Chicago Convention on Aviation Security. I wish to express my support for the endorsement of the Ministerial Declaration on Security in Aviation and the launch of the second edition of the Global Aviation Security Plan. Civil aviation security remains a high priority in the agenda of the Security Council, its Counter-Terrorism Committee, and CTED. Since the adoption of Resolution 1373, more Council resolutions have been adopted with provisions relevant to civil aviation. Resolution 2309 is dedicated specifically to terrorist threats to civil aviation and promoting the effective application of Icao standards and recommended practices. Resolution 2341 focuses on critical infrastructure protection, Resolution 2396 on requirements for advanced passenger information and passenger name record systems, and Resolution 2617 on emerging technologies such as unmanned aircraft systems that increasingly pose threats when used for terrorist purposes. CTED has a key mandate to conduct country assessment visits on behalf of the Counter-Terrorism Committee, engaging in dialogue with member states on matters relating to aviation security and critical infrastructure protection. All elements of the Security Council resolutions are discussed, from the need to increase the understanding of threats to promoting the establishment of risk management processes and forging better coordination among a state's relevant domestic departments and agencies. Icao standards and recommended practices are being promoted during those missions and in our stock-taking of states' counter-terrorism profiles. Our assessments reveal that the threat of attacks against civil aviation as critical infrastructure with significant cascading effects remains persistent and requires governments to put in place adequate prevention, response, and resilience measures. CTED continues to identify gaps in states' coordination and cooperation mechanisms, which often exclude non-governmental stakeholders who are a critical component in building resilience. In this regard, our recommendations can encourage the state to conduct a mapping exercise of relevant stakeholders and to increase security awareness and resilience among them. Other building blocks critical to strengthening resilience include developing proactive strategies to reduce terrorism-related risks to critical aviation infrastructure, practicing a whole-of-government approach, and adapting to changes in the terrorism threat landscape. The Security Week provides a great opportunity for states and international organizations to not only take stock of the current state of aviation security, but also to prepare for the future together as we face new and emerging threats. Many states do require assistance to this effect. Regarding the facilitation of technical assistance delivery, CTED shares the Committee's recommendations on aviation security and critical infrastructure protection with Icao and other relevant partners so that they can either identify areas in which they might provide technical assistance or direct CTED to a member state or entity able to do so. It is essential that donor states and our implementing partners continue to assist states to address the implementation gaps identified by CTAD. CTAD is grateful for Icao's expert support during the committee's assessment visits. We make every effort to ensure that our activities are mutually reinforcing and complementary. CTAD and Icao also cooperate through the Global Counterterrorism Coordination Compact and partner in several capacity-building programs. With regard to the progress in and impact of implementing API and PNR systems, CTAD and Icao are key partners of the Countering Terrorist Travel Program, spearheaded by the United Nations Office of Counterterrorism. CTAD leads the capacity consultations and ensures that the IPI and PNR-related recommendations have been identified through CTAD assessments. This program is a huge endeavor and provides much-needed support to states. The Counterterrorism Travel Program is just one example of several ongoing programs and initiatives following the One United Nations approach that CTAD is engaged in. The Security Council has directed CTAD to identify new and emerging issues, trends, and developments relating to its relevant resolutions. CTAD's relationship with academia, civil society, the private sector, and international regional and sub-regional organizations are crucial in this endeavor. In our assessments, we address these new and emerging issues, encouraging states to adapt their risk management processes accordingly. Effective risk-based measures at airports, including screenings and facility security, depend on comprehensive national and sector-specific risk management. CTAD is tasked with supporting the work of the committee in developing non-binding guiding principles to help member states counter threats posed by new and emerging technologies being used for terrorist purposes. CTAD also compiles good practices to leverage these technologies to counter terrorism in a manner consistent with international human rights obligations. In December last year, the committee adopted the non-binding guiding principles on the threats posed by the use of unmanned aircraft systems for terrorist purposes, also called the Abu Dhabi Guiding Principles. This is a true milestone, considering the increasing number of security incidents related to the use of UAS, especially by terrorist groups located in Africa. These principles outline steps for states across legal, regulatory, institutional, operational, and technical frameworks. I thank Icao for its expert support in this development. Multi-stakeholder cooperation, information exchange, and dedication to human rights compliant approaches are key components in our common fight against any terrorism-relating threat. Going forward, we must work together and continue to invest in measures to safeguard civil aviation and keep our commitment to Icao's slogan of "No country left behind." Thank you.